Oracle. What should they call her? What should they call her? Oracle. Hey, gang, give me a second. Okay, let's just do it. Hope everybody is well. Give everybody a minute to come on in. I don't need this here. Hey. What's good now? So, there's a lot of crazy energy. What's good, Entertain Me? What's good, Miss Lotus Wisdom? And today, Aries, Saturn goes back into Aries. Yes. Hey, guys. What's good, Divine Leaders? Hey, everybody coming in. What's good, La Bella Chula? Everybody coming in, Cold Squad. What's good, peoples? So, today Saturn goes into Aries or returns into Aries. It was there last year for a little bit. And it gave us, and it's your Saturn return, right? It gave us a little window. What's good, Nene? Into what was to come. And what's good, Chance? I feel like, I don't know about you, but the last couple of weeks, the energy has shifted. And yes, it's been extremely intense. I feel like I need more light. Hold on. What is happening? Is that better? It's been very intense, but the intensity serves a purpose. Because the more the collective feels impeded on in whatever area, this frequency leads to the change, is part of the catalyst. Okay. Earlier this week, we had Uranus come out of its retrograde in Taurus. So two of the things that we've been waiting for, I say that loosely, we've been waiting for the shift of the energy was for Uranus to go into Gemini. And now that it's come out of its retrograde, it will start returning to that path. And that won't be till like April 25th. But Saturn goes into Aries today. We have a solar eclipse on the 17th. On the 20th, we have Saturn and Neptune at 0 degrees of Aries. And that was good, April. And that is the moment of truth. I really believe that's also 2020 or 22, right? And numerologically speaking, I always have trouble with that word. It's supposed to be a 1 year, right? So 2 drop the zeros. That's 5. That's the moment of change. I promise you that from now until then, until Neptune meets up with Saturn, there's going to be fast moving information and implications. Okay? Because what you're going to see is that what is not being addressed here is going to be addressed globally. And that is going to cause a domino effect. Okay. And if you're paying attention, you can already notice that. And there are methodologies that people who are in maybe in power that are a little bit nervous about standing up, there's like other ways that people are working together to meet particular goals. So what am I saying? You're going to see a shift of power start to take place very shortly. Okay. You're also going to see resistance grow more. And you're going to see, what's good, Jennifer? You're going to see people more readily willing to push back against power. And that actually causes a tidal wave. And I'm going to say some things in the best way that I can explain them. But the Super Bowl was, in a sense, like the Alpha and Omega, right? Or the beginning and the end. Because when you think about the founding of where we are right now, what's good, Anna, and all those coming in, the founding of where we are right now, right? The native population who has been renamed for control. Listen. And even before I get any further into that, let me just start by saying that there's going to be a push-pull in this Saturn Aries energy. Just talking about the Saturn and Aries and not even taking the bigger picture into consideration. It's going to be start, stop, start, stop, start, stop, right? Restriction meets pressure. Because Aries is willing to apply pressure. Okay, fire sign, the first breath, right? All of those indications, right? So, it's giving pit bull. I used to breed pit bulls. Okay, so it's giving pit bull. Pit bull. Who's in? I don't know what it said. I tried to catch it in time. It's giving a huge pit bull energy. Why? Because a pit bull gets scared, and instead of backing down, they go towards it. They take 2 steps back, 5 steps forward. So now what's going to happen is, in the past, there's been this pushback, and then people, fear, right? But the Aries energy doesn't know how to stand down. We're also fire horse energy, right? So all of this is culminating into the willingness to stand up. What's good? Greetings, Zakira. Okay. So let's start with that component. And then back to what I was saying about it coming full circle. You have to understand that when you talk about the indigenous, okay, of the Americas, and you talk about when Christopher Columbus first came to the Americas, the first people he met were the Taínos. The Taínos is the tribe of Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Jamaica, Cuba, right? So with that being said, for people to say, and I don't care because I'm going to say it, that it's culturally inappropriate, how is that possible, Sway? when upon arrival to this nation, the first people that were met were the Taínos. Oh, thank you, my love. Okay, so it's an impossibility. It's an impossibility. And so when we speak of the Americas, you can't say that the original people are not a relevant part of the culture. So it's kind of weird that this is kicking off a larger conversation as Saturn returns to Aries, and people are willing to be more vocal, okay, more willing to stand up against that oppression. Also, Saturn is a co-ruler of Aquarius. And there's a lot of shit going on. What's good, Mark? Oh, thank you. Thank you for joining. But Saturn is the co-ruler of Aquarius, and presently we have Pluto, the Sun, Venus, and Mars all in Aquarius, right? Now, Mars being Aries ruler, and then Saturn being in Aries, so they're actually, their rulers are in each other's homes. So this already starts a conversation between Mars and Saturn, if you're following what I'm saying. They are in each other's houses, okay? Think of it as house sitting. Now you got to find the Moonchild t-shirt. You understand? So there's already energy, and I think it was Amazon. There's already energy. I do take questions. But my free questions are on Mondays. Okay. Other than that, and there's a link also if you want to book a private with me. But as I was saying, with that combination in the air, you're already seeing it, right? So certain information that was being withheld, what's good, MJ, was being withheld from the public. Other places said, you know what, we're going to release it in full and unredacted. You're already seeing power shifts and people having to quit their jobs. You're also seeing some people having to leave their jobs. Let me tell you something. This shit with TikTok wants to give you like little tips while you're fucking live. It's actually so distracting. Cut it out, TikTok. Okay, we already have to read the comments from the people in the room. We don't need the extra bullshit. For real. What's good, Tawanda? But yeah, okay, so Saturn and Mars being in each other's houses is starting a conversation where it's working together, but with a little bit of friction. Okay? With a little bit of friction. Let alone that Mars and Pluto, who are presently in the same house right now, already displaying a little friction. And who do they have standing in between them? None other than Venus, causing some more fucking friction. Okay, so I want to talk about a couple things. Relationships from now. Listen, if there's some kind of situation, what's good, Donnie boy? If all the fucking notifications. Let me turn this fucking phone over. What's good? No patience. So with Pluto and Mars, there's already some tension there. We're headed into Valentine's Day with an eclipse. And then the first one will be a solar eclipse, and then the other one will be a lunar eclipse, I think on like March 3rd. So what is this telling you? Any relationships, first off, what you see is what you get. Okay? Don't be like, oh, well, I'm probably bugging. No, you're not. Neptune into Aries is like secrets revealed and us taking action on it. This is why part of the files are coming out unredacted in other places, because no matter what you try to do here, right? You can't cover the sun with your hand. It's only an optical illusion, right? So anything that is brought to your attention now, let it go. Let it go. That means that it's not supposed to be in your sphere. And any kind of, let's say you're with somebody and they haven't made a mistake in the past, but they make one now, a big one. It is not for you to be like, oh, maybe I should. No, it's not for that. It is for you to pick yourself up and be on your fucking merry way. Because if this person wants to take accountability and elevate themselves and correct their behaviors and mature, because people are facing their inner demons, then that's going to be on them to put in the work for that. And then that's going to be on you if by the time they do that, are you willing to will you even be in alignment with that person anymore? Okay, so this is not the time to be concentrating on others. Okay. So I'm not doing personal questions right now, but I am talking about your life. I'm talking about everybody's life and how this transit will affect us all as a collective. Okay? So there's going to be obstacles. What I'm talking about is going to be for like the next 2 years. So if you really listen, you're going to see how this correlates to situations that you're in. Okay? So let's talk about Aries. Energy is the self. Hey, Dipio. Right? So let's talk about Aries and the self. Okay? No questions today. That'll be Monday. So with Aries, this is about you, about your individual desires, who you're trying to be, your first breath, your the ideas that you have, right? And Saturn wants to tell you, you know, what maybe you could improve upon. What obstacles are there probably for your betterment, lessons you have to learn, tasks that you have to complete so that you can go on to the next level. So this is where the push-pull is going to come. Okay? An obstacle is going to be shown to you. This is going to be for the next 2 years. An obstacle is going to be shown to you. When that obstacle is shown to you, the energy that you receive that obstacle and what you decide on how to transmute it, overcome that obstacle, what tools, what lesson you could be being shown, the faster you recognize that, rather than doing the Aries thing and running into the wall, right? Assessing what needs to be done, what needs to be faced, what you might have to even compromise with, that could be part of the lesson. Once you get a grasp of that, you will see that you can overcome that obstacle. You will become stronger. You will become more like the Aries, the warrior. This is a season of training, thinking Sparta. Okay? So as this is happening, you overcome one obstacle, and then the next obstacle is going to show itself. Maybe you have 6-8 weeks, everything's smooth. The next obstacle is going to show itself. It could be in a different area, right? How you respond to that, how you conquer that, is going to affect how fast you're moving forward. I promise you, this whole 2 years is going to be about that. And the things that will get accomplished fastest, the things that you will overcome easiest, are things that are alignment with your overall purpose and the collective. Because remember that Aries opposite sign is Libra. And Aries is the self and Libra is relationships, right? And then Aquarius, which has all that energy up in there right now, is telling you what is for the greater good of humanity. So how can you uphold yourself while trying your best not to harm others for the overall collective goal? Those are the things that are going to be answered the fastest. Those are the things that are going to be resolved easiest. Why? Because the energy, the frequency, the current is already in play for those outcomes. So it will be like using instead of walking, you're taking the train. Whereas other things might be more difficult, right? If you keep having a repeating obstacle and you keep going at it in the same method, right? Like, oh, I got beef with my boss. They were a pain in the ass. They're always telling me to do more work, but I refuse to listen to them because what do they know? They're not supposed to be my boss anyway. You see how that hard-headed narrative, guess what? That problem is going to keep repeating because there's a lesson there. Maybe the lesson, you could be right about your boss, but maybe the lesson there is to not be so vocal or not be so obvious, or learn to respond. Thank you guys for all the love. Or to learn to respond in a way that is more conducive to the environment and the outcome, right? Instead of being like, I ain't listening to, right? Even though you might really feel like that, but there's the obstacle keeps repeating itself, right? I'll give you another example. You have different relationships. The last 5 relationships, there has been an infidelity. Well, guess what? Unless they all know each other, boo, the common denominator is you. And even if they all know each other, the common denominator is still you. Right? There's something that you're overlooking, and that's why this obstacle keeps presenting itself. And now, especially that Saturn is going to be in the house of Aries, which is, you may not be a rising and it may fall in a different house for you, but its original definition is talking about the self. So what lessons do we have to learn in the next 2 years? And this is why I tell my group all the time that you should be, when you're manifesting, if you want to manifest open roads, if you want to manifest less obstacles, then what you need to be saying and including in your manifestations is, I learn my lessons with ease and grace and in the light of love. I learn my lessons in ease and grace and with the light of love. Why? Because unless you like getting your ass whooped by your lessons, you can communicate to your higher self and your ancestors that you are now in the chapter of your life. We're going to be learning till we die. But you can communicate to your ancestors that you are willing to learn those lessons in an easier way and with more love, that they don't necessarily have to be painful, right? Or we could stay with the motto of hard head, make a soft ass, and then you just continue on your trajectory and you learn your lesson whenever you're supposed to learn your lesson, bumps and bruises and all, right? So it was about 2018 when I started coming to that realization. Like, I need to really explain to my ancestors and repeatedly request that I learn my lessons in the ease and grace and the light of love. And for the most part, that has been the case. Even though I have had some very, very hard situations, they have felt like I'm enveloped in love. And you can't ask for nothing else. You really can't. Good morning, Billy. You really can't ask for anything else. Okay? So the next 2 years is really going to be about this start and stop energy, obstacles, and how we respond to them. And how we respond to them is going to be like the success rate. Okay? And this isn't about like, because you're going to get obstacles and you're going to sometimes feel like giving up. No, it's the exact opposite. Okay? Saturn wants you to go within, think about another way to climb that wall, come at it in a different way, right? That's what Aries would do. Aries is not going to give up. They're going to keep trying, right? So Saturn is like, keep that, but don't be so hard-headed. Don't be, charging into a crowd. Be more calculating. Okay? So this is what the energy is bringing. Now, I feel like I want to pull a couple cards just to talk about maybe what Spirit would want us to know. And I asked Spirit to give us a window from now until Uranus enters Gemini, which is April 25th. So any of these messages is in that ballpark. Spirit, can you show me, please? Because I think that particular date or that window, I have been saying it in my private group, that's the beginning of the end. I think we're already in the beginning. So we'll be further in the end of the current situation that we're in, if you're following what the hell I'm saying. Spirit, show me. So I'm not doing personal questions today, but I do them on Mondays. So you have Cancer, Immerse, Trine, Sextile. They came in reverse. Okay? So Spirit said, don't get too into your fucking feelings. Don't get, bogged down, because that's how you're going to lose your momentum. That's how you're going to lose your fire. You're going to be absorbing too much, taking shit personal. Don't take it personal, right? Spirit is saying you have to be the observer. To be calculating, you must be the observer. You are standing outside of your experience and you are observing what is happening around you. And that's how you get to use the frequency of chaos to its best use. But when you are emerged, okay, when you are completely inundated, you cannot stay above. That's called fucking drowning. Fire horse, right? You don't want that fire put out or smothered by water. Okay? So there's going to be a lot of moving parts. We're already starting to see on a global level, like people having to resign, shit shifting, chaos, conflict, right? So as you are watching the shift and the power struggles and all of those things and the unveilings and the bells of truth ringing and all the shit that's happening, remember, you are the observer. Okay, it's not happening to you, it's happening for you. You need to observe so that you can respond accordingly. I'm just trying to, right? And not everything, the other card that came out in reverse was trying symbiosis. Not everything is in alignment. Sometimes shit gotta be rough to get past it. Sometimes there gotta be conflict. What's good, Huda? Right? Sometimes there's got to be an uproar. Sometimes there's got to be a response. Sometimes we got to go outside. Sometimes there's got to be revolutionary frequencies. This is how new ideas, new societies are born. Now let's talk about what's going to happen. Let's talk about what's going to happen on February 20th when Saturn and Neptune come to 0 degrees in Aries. That energy, very important, that energy has not happened in basically 6,000 years. Okay? I'm not doing personal cards today, but if you follow, I do that on Mondays. Okay? So what does that mean? When you think about what was happening in those times, these were the rise and falls of civilizations. And for those of you that have been with me for a while, you know, recently I was in a reading and I was saying that Spirit was talking about Atlantis and Egypt and Lemuria and all these things. And some of them, we look at them as folklore or stories, right? The Aztecs, right? And then the Mayans, right? And then we look at that and we think that some is real and some is fake. It's because so much history has been washed away, but Spirit's message was that they were all real, right? And so we're at a tipping point where this energy, we have an opportunity to get something right, where we are no longer attacking each other. And something happened. That's why I said that the Bad Bunny was full circle, because that voyage changed the outlook to how a continent appeared. And now we're getting to, a time where the population here is changing, and that is bringing about pushback. And so it was absolutely necessary to have that halftime show because it illuminates the very conversation that needs to be had. And if you noticed, and for those of you who are online and, just like, especially on TikTok and just going through people's pages, what you noticed was that melanated people from all places were activated. They were activated, right? Activated by the drums, which was used as methods of communication, not only for joy, but for war, right? And so I feel like what is happening is, and I saw a lot of content about this, about that was like a unity call. And I really think that we have been separated for a very long time. And now, listen, we're always going to have those that are going to be trying to stand in the way of that. And we have had structures here that were purposely built for us not to recognize that we are a people. You cannot separate us by blood. Okay? Cannot separate us. They don't want us to know that. They don't want you to know that. Okay? But that is the truth. You cannot separate us. Okay? And so solar flares in reverse, right? There's going to be some things occurring. Let's put these cards in one order. There's going to be some things occurring so that people can start to see what is for our best benefit. There's going to be an event to see if they can change the conversation, and it's going to fail. Watch what I'm telling you. Okay? It's going to be an old playbook. Okay? Old playbook. And I feel like this old playbook scenario thing is probably like by Monday. So I feel like they have cover. They feel like Valentine's gives them cover or distraction. So whatever that may be, it may be put into play as of like Monday. Okay, closer to the eclipse. All right. And this is because they need a distraction, because the outside world, you can't keep the outside world out. You can't keep the news out, right? So even though they didn't release it here, people all over the world join hands on a love train, right? And that's what's going to happen in essence, that people are going to recognize what has been used against them. Okay, let's see what else Spirit wants to tell us. Actually, give us a oracle card for everybody within listening ear, both now and later, whenever they find this video, about how they should be receiving this frequency from Saturn returning to Aries today. This energy now, really for the next few years, but we're concentrating here between now and April 25th. Spirit, can you just show me what is the frequency that needs to be paid attention to? How should we respond to the things that are happening around us? Can you show me, please? Circle cross of Tenon, rare intersection of heaven and earth. Okay, came out of reverse. Okay, Spirit saying we've done this before, and we are at a crossroads. Will we respond differently? Will we overcome? Right? I just heard nobody knows the troubles I see. Right? Also, right? They say the Mayans like disappeared. Did they? Or was something erased? Okay. because to the spoils, I don't know this phrase, to the winner gets the spoils, and erasing something, and we have a chance to have a different outcome. Okay. Your plans and purpose are aligned with greater cosmic forces. Didn't I say that the things that would be addressed quickest would be those things that serve your purpose, but at the same time are for the greater good? Your plans and purpose are aligned with greater cosmic forces. Whether you see it coming or not, things will fall into place, and what you have been working towards will come to fruition. A rare intersection of heaven and earth will result in a precious manifestation of grace. The divine shall correct the situation that is in need of realignment. Fear not, pray boldly, and be faithful. All is well, right? So there's going to be things that will make us feel like danger is imminent. But that frequency is there to enforce change. Okay? Okay, let me see here because I see something. The hawk is typically a solar creature thriving in the light, and yet some hawks can hunt by night. You, like the rare lunar hawk, are one who is of light yet can move through the darkness successfully. Hello. Okay. So why am I still hidden? What do you mean? You have enough spiritual light within you to see your way through lies and deception and find the truth that you seek. What you are seeking is meant to be yours by divine right. Keep up the process of growth and inquiry, and it will come to you at the right moment, according to higher spiritual law through the operation of spiritual grace. The priestess, the one who bridges heaven and earth, dwells within the lunar pyramid of the ancient city of Tehutihuacan, now known as Tenon, with the circle crosses as her guide. She knows when and how to call for divine assistance, and as priestesses do, part of her role is to pray for those in her spiritual care, invoking divine love and requesting assistance and grace for all living beings. It is in her spiritual responsibility to keep the channels between heaven and earth not only open, but healthy, robust, active, and stable. Why? Because she is capable of doing so. This is your sacred role also. Pray to the unconditionally loving divine source for all events, for all beings. Take active steps to fulfill your destiny and be the living channel of spiritual grace that you are destined to be. Okay? All right. And then it says, through the protective gateway of unconditional love, I invite the power of the divine healing into my being and into this world. Through protection and gateway of unconditional love, I invite the power of divine presence into my being and into this world. Earth Mother, may all of humanity love, honor, and protect you. Thank you for all that you do for us. You are native soul mother of creativity, generosity, and wild grace. On behalf of all humanity, I invoke divine love, light, and wisdom for the fulfillment of the purpose for all divine beings. May we be assisted through the endless resource of the divine for the greatest good for all generations. May divine grace evoke love and higher consciousness in all realms. It is done. Okay, so basically, we're stepping into the hour. Now I just said you could get the money, you could get the power, the final hour. I just heard Lauryn Hill. Now I don't, I used to love him. Okay, so we're being called to something higher. Okay, the change is upon us. The worship of things outside of us. coming to an end. Okay. Celebrity worship coming to an end. Political worship coming to an end. Today is usually the day I do breaking news, and Spirit told me no. Come on. Because we need to have proof that we had this conversation about the Alpha and the Omega and the beginning of the end and how it ties back into what I said. I don't know, like 2 years ago. It's in one of the videos about how it has something to do with Taurus season. And now I'm really sure. Much will be breaking through this spring. Seeds that have been lying dormant, seeds that have been planted, will now become viable. You're going to see them breaking through, sprouting. On another note, Spirit says, pay attention to what's in the food, and whatever you can make, you need to make that. So go get a little bread machine, go do your due diligence, grow a little something in your fucking house, right? Because they're not gonna achieve a goal that they wanted, and they're gonna take another route. Because that plan is already meeting its demise. And so if you're paying attention to the things that they found in those files, there's also eugenics. I need y'all to pay attention and read between the lines. I know my crew definitely will, because they know what we be talking about. Okay? Part of all of this in the next 10, 15 years, while Pluto is still, because Pluto just went into Aquarius, so it's there for 20 years, right? We are going to be taking back, thank you, Emmanuel. We're going to be taking back our control over our food. We have been too trusting, too disinterested, and too distracted, right? And the Divine Mother is going to like lift us into being more concerned with our diets, male and female, right? This divine feminine frequency within, whether you're a man or a woman, are going to start to become more concerned with what we are putting into our vessels, who we emotionally align ourselves with, who we sleep with, right? King of Wands at the bottom of the deck. Got the Father of Baskets out here with the Empress. Okay, so crossed, right? We're about to, see some things about systems that were being upheld for acceptance, and how that changed the epigenetics of whole communities, right? Through trauma, through food, through programming, right? And that is definitely being exposed. I just heard this is going to hurt me more than it hurts you, right? And we're going to realize that no, that was never true. Justice with the 7 of Pentacles, okay? There's a shift in balance that needs to happen for a situation to be rectified. And as you see, there's a man sitting and there's a woman standing. They're having a conversation, okay? About what? About equality, about equity, which is 2 different things. And I feel like there's going to be a new version of what that equity looks like. King of Swords at the bottom of the deck. This is the Aquarius King, okay, with the Strength card and the Judgment. You know, there's a segment of society, of those who are in power, and they can feel that something is dying and their system or way of life is on life support, which is why they're so fucking aggressive right now. Okay, so don't expect it to go smoothly into the night, because that's not going to be the fucking case. Right? With the World and the 10 of Cups, right? So they you know what they're more worried about? Okay, rather than worrying about whether or not they should make a recompense to the children or change their ways, they're more worried about if the system falls, do they have to give back the money? Says it right here. Oh, so an apology is one thing, but if the world comes to an end, what about my money? So greed is still at the core of it. So they're never going to be satisfied. It'll never be enough. Spirit, can you show me? Ace of Wands and the 9 of Sticks. That is the 10 of Wands. And it's up to the people to stand on business. She got her Bible and her gun, okay? And although we might find it burdensome with the 9 of Wands added to the Ace of Wands, the 10 of Wands, okay, that's difficult. It's hard. It's heavy lifting, right? But it's the obstacle that we must overcome. Aries, King, right? Fire, background, the start and stop, right? There goes the stop, right? Page of Swords. That's that obstacle, right? But if you want to become the emperor, you got to walk and chew gum at the same fucking time. You got to learn how to, be the observer, take a step back, see what the obstacle is, and then reassess how you're going to get at it. That's going to be the next 2 years in a nutshell, okay? While we are bringing down systems that are built to keep oppression, okay? And then you got the hangman in reverse. We have to find another way. We've done this, right? Certain segments of population have decided that they're going about it differently, right? Hermit, right? We may not be outside, but we may be taking our money and doing it in different ways, okay? 8 of Swords, which is what they're concerned with. What if they all get on the same page? What will happen then? The Lovers, okay? They might make a different choice. They might fuck up our plan. Right, 5 of Baskets, right? Spirit, why is this 5 of Baskets? 5 of Baskets. 9 of Wands, okay? They figure if they keep us in fear mode, then, we won't be able to overcome. But 4 of Wands, people are finding their peace. How? By becoming the observer, by becoming, by not absorbing the frequency, and recognizing that whatever is coming towards them, there is a response, okay? And that's how we stay independent, okay? And that's how the money, first you get the money, then you get the power, the final hour, Queen of Wands. Okay, we magnetize and ourselves to the energy of going forward. I learn my lessons in the ease and grace and the light of love. I readjust when Saturn shows me what the obstacle is. I am divinely led by the divine feminine where all things are possible. Knight of Wands. Where there's a will, there's a way, baby. I come at it a different way again and again and again until what? Until the fucking Chariot shows up. There you go, baby. The traditional Chariot has two different horses. One is white and one is black. Right? They want to move in opposite directions, but the Chariot is what harnesses it to move forward, right? Temperance. We've been at this for a long fucking time, trying to get on ease on down the road. We have a chance now, guys. 6,000 years we haven't had this energy. We have to decide that whatever obstacles put before us, that we are moving in the direction of not only what's best for us, but what's best for us as a community. And we will not be deterred. And we will not be told how or what or when we should respond to things. And we will find ways that brings unity and, most importantly, love to our, mostly to our children, right? And to those that are disempowered by other groups, okay? So I'm going to leave it there. I feel like the war has already been won. You might not realize that, but it's already been won, okay? What it is now is that energetically, it already happened. Now we have to finish the work, okay? So it's just like when you set out a manifestation, the manifestation's already out there. Now we just got to walk the walk, baby. Now we just got to walk the walk. All right? So that's what I have for you guys. I'd just like to say thank you for you guys coming to spend a little time with me. I'm wishing you all light and love and blessings on blessings. Okay. Bye, guys. You're welcome. Bye, my loves.